Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about equations and formulas. We're in chapter 3 now, 3-1, and this should be mostly a review, but I'm just going to go through the sample questions on page 106 to refresh your memory on how to do this, and then you'll be practicing some problems for the next couple days. So, number 1 on page 106, it says, determine if -1, 1, or 4 is the solution of each equation. So these are the fun problems that you guys don't like, but I do. Okay, so I'm going to write my numbers up there so I don't forget them. Those are the ones I have to see if they work in each equation. And then I'm going to write the equations down, and I have to plug each of those numbers in to see which one works and solves the equation correctly. I think that's what it says. I can't see good with my glasses on up close. Okay, so y plus 7 equals 6. So I'm just going to plug each of those numbers in and solve and see which one makes the equation true. And to make the equation true, it means it has to be balanced on both sides or have the same number on both sides of the equal sign. So -1. Just plugging it in for the variable. -1 plus 7 is 6, and 6 equals 6. So -1 actually works, but we have to try the others just in case. More than one of them works. So now I'm going to do +1. So I get 1 plus 7 equals 6, and 1 plus 7 is 8, and 8 does not equal 6. So that one doesn't work. And the last one would be 4. So plug in 4 for y. 4 plus 7 equals 6. And 4 plus 7 is 11. And 11 does not equal 6 either. So that time it was -1. So to write your answer for this one, you're going to write the number that makes that equation true, which is -1. And if you circle your answer or make it highlighted if you're typing it, it'll make it easier for me to see. All right, so number 2. 2x minus 5 equals 3. Oh my goodness, my writing is so sloppy. Sorry. Okay, so now I'm just going to plug the numbers in again. That's all I'm doing every single time. So -1. So I have 2 times -1. Remember, when it's written next to something, it means multiply. Don't write -21. You'll have to bring me a Starbucks. Okay, so 2 times -1 is -2. Then I'm going to bring the rest down. Now I'm adding and subtracting because you see that negative sign in between the 1 and the 5? That means subtract. There's no parentheses. It's not multiplying. So -2 minus 5 is -7. Does -7 equal 3? No. So try the next one. +1. So 2 times 1 minus 5 equals 3. 2 times 1 is 2, minus 5 equals 3. 2 minus 5 is -3 equals 3. That does not equal. So that didn't work either. I'm thinking it's going to be 4. So now I got 2 times 4 minus 5 equals 3. 2 times 4 is 8. 8 minus 5 is 3. And 3 equals 3. So the answer to this problem is 4. 4 is the only number that works. Okay? I think you get the idea of this now. If you need more examples, email me and I'll be happy to do more for you. So let's move to the next section. The next section says use mental math to solve each equation. So they don't really want us to write these equations down to solve them. They want us to kind of do it in our heads. So now you have to remember all of your solving equation skills in order to do this one correctly. So number 4 says t minus 1 equals 1/2. So I remember my rules for solving equations. I look at the variable and I do the opposite of whatever's happening with the variable. I see that it is -1, so I need to add 1. Whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other. So I'm essentially adding 1 to 1/2, okay? So that means if I'm using mental math, 1 plus 1/2 just equals 1 1/2. Or as the book said, it equals 3/2 because they made it an improper fraction. Okay, let's try the next one. It says 6w equals 36. So again, look at what's happening with the variable and do the opposite. I see 6 times w, so I want to do the opposite, which is divide. 36 divided by 6 is going to be 6. So if I were to work it out, this is what I'd be doing if I actually were writing it down, but they want us to do it mentally, so we did it mentally, okay? And we'll do one more just to refresh your memory. Number 6, 1/3 b equals 7. So again, I'm mentally thinking, okay, there's division happening with the b, the variable, so I'm going to do the opposite, which is multiplying. But when I multiply, I have to flip that fraction over. So if I flip the fraction over, it's like basically multiplying by 3. So 7 times 3 is 21. And that becomes my answer. Now, if I were to write it out and show you what I'm doing, this is what I'm actually doing. So those cancel out, and then 7 times 3 is 21. And that one on the bottom we can just leave off. Okay, so the next 3 are word problems. And this is going to be a really good refresher for you guys. So number 7 says the perimeter of a triangle is 1.8 meters. Hold on. I'm hitting things with my bracelet. 1.8 meters equals the perimeter. The length, and remember we're talking about a triangle, so I'm going to draw this out to help me visualize it, okay? The length of one side is 0.4 meters, and the length of another side is 0.8. So it says, what's the length of the third side, the missing side? Well, if you remember, perimeter is where you add up all the sides, okay? So let's call this one that we don't know x, because that's what we do when we don't know something. And then I'm just going to add the sides and make them equal to the perimeter. So I'm going to say x plus 0.4 plus 0.8 equals 1.8. And now I just solve like it's an equation. So the first thing I'm going to do is add these two values together. And 0.4 plus 0.8 equals 1.2. And then I'm going to solve the equation. So 1.2 is being added to x, so I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to subtract. Whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other. And x is going to equal 0.6. So the length of that missing side is 0.6 meters. Okay? All right. Almost there, guys. Number 8. It says the area of a rectangle is 18 feet squared and the width is 3 feet. Use the formula A equals length times width to find the length. Okay, so this one, they made it kind of easy because they gave us a formula. Area equals length times width. And they said the area is 18. And they said the width is 3. Okay, so if I'm solving this equation, I look at what's happening to the variable. 3 is being multiplied by L, or times L, and I'm going to do the opposite. The opposite of multiplication is division. So divide both sides by whatever is next to the variable. Whatever I do to one side, I have to do the other. So the length is going to equal 18 divided by 3, which is 6. So this rectangle has a side of 3 and a top and bottom of 6. Okay, last one. Number 9. It says Carolyn traveled for 67.5 miles in 2.5 hours. Find her average speed. So be careful. It doesn't say she traveled 67.5 miles for 2.5 hours. Because if it said that, that would mean that every hour, essentially, she traveled 67.5 miles. But she traveled 67.5 miles in that whole 2.5 hour time period. So we have to figure out how far did she travel, okay? So 67.5. That means I'm going to divide those miles by the number of hours that she was traveling. So 67.5 divided by 2.5. The first thing I'm going to do is make that bottom fraction an improper fraction. So 2 times 2 is 4. 4 plus 1 is 5. It equals 5 halves. And then you can do two things here. You can divide that out and work with a decimal, which actually makes the most sense because there's already a decimal on top. Or you can keep change flip and just divide by the fraction. So I'm going to change it to a decimal because there's already a decimal on top. So 5 divided by 2 is not 1. 5 divided by 2 is 2.5. So I'm going to do 67.5 divided by 2.5. And I end up with 27. So the question, hold on, I forgot what the question was. Find her average speed. Okay, so for her average speed per hour is going to be 27 miles per hour. Okay. All right. Email me if you have any questions and let me know if you need any help, and I will be happy to help you. See you next time.